Hello, networkers, and welcome back to another Ask the Network Engineer. And this is more of an off-topic episode. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and click on that notification bell to get updated when new videos are released. I try to release videos a couple times a month. I typically like to do what I call a recording cram, where I can record all episodes in one particular weekend. And then it can allow me to kind of just produce everything, take my time and release everything one by one. So you may see that videos are very different from other ones. So that's kind of like a little sneak peek of how I do things here. Anyway, let's get down to the actual topic of this particular video. And this was based on an actual blog that I was reading about in regards to job searches and entry-level experience. And I read this article. It was very interesting. I don't typically do that or kind of read articles and then do it as an episode, but I found it very interesting because it aligned with many of your challenges and concerns. So let's get right into it. And for this particular entire segment, I'm going to show you the website and kind of show you particular segments of it as I go along and discuss to you some of the details. So let's get to it. So first things first, this is a blog on a website called talentworks.com. And they talk about different experience levels for different job levels like entry level, mid-level, senior level, things like that. And again, I found this article very interesting because it aligns with your feedback and experience. Many of you talk about that it is a struggle, it is a pain to find a job or to gain networking experience, because a lot of these places require a certain number of years of experience. And this article is speaking directly to you about what could be going on. And that's why I want to do this as a dedicated episode on the channel. So let's get into what the article is saying. So what they did here, they did a kind of like a survey. And they actually did like 100,000 random job searches. Okay, so I do not know what kind of searches they actually did. Like, is it technical? Is it business? Is it something else? I don't know. But it just ran 100,000 random job searches. And from that information, they determined that 61% of them for full-time entry-level work, that it requires 3 years of experience, which is matching up with what you guys were saying. And the amount of experience required is expected to increase to be 4 years of experience, and that could happen in the next 5 to 10 years. So if you're watching this 5-10 years from now, you may require 4 years of experience. So that could create some more difficulty there. Furthermore, the article talks about that in general, based on their results, that entry-level work with 3 years of experience, that you can qualify for 75% of jobs that are out there. Where mid-level jobs, where you have 5 years of experience, that you can qualify for 77% of jobs out there. And if you are a senior person with 8 years, then you have a 72% chance of finding an opportunity out there. Furthermore, it also talks about the hireability, that after you are 35 years old, that it seems to go down 8% each year. Now, I have my personal thoughts about this, but I'm just telling you what the article is talking about. So here are basically some of the tips that this article is saying, like things that you can do and things to keep in mind. And luckily, a lot of this stuff here I have talked about on my channel several times. So this is just reinforcing what I'm talking about. So one of the things that they say is, number one, do not list your graduation date if you're over 35 years old. So what they're saying is that, so for me, I'm 43. I graduated from college in 1998. So they're saying that I should not put that down on my resume because it could hurt me. I have my opinions about it, but I'm just telling you what the tips that are reflected in this particular article. Number two, another tip is do freelancing to build your experience. This is exactly what I've been talking about for many episodes. Don't rely on a company for you to get networking experience. You go out there and do freelance, basic consulting work to say, hey, I can help you configure this router. I can help you configure this firewall. Do it at a very cheap price. You will gain the experience. That's what I did when I got into consulting. Freelancing is the key to get the experience that you want. So then that could be on your resume and that could be ammunition to apply for the jobs that you need. The third tip is apply for these networking type jobs when you have basically about 2 years of experience or within 2 years. Just go ahead and apply. Okay. Remember, we talked about the percentages, but you never know. Depends on the environment, depends what they're looking for. Sometimes they're looking at the personality and that they're willing to train you. There's no harm in applying for jobs, but just kind of within 2 years is when you should consider that. Another tip that this particular article talks about is that you should search for possible entry-level jobs because you may qualify for 5% of them out there. Again, this really depends on that environment. So you may see a particular job posting for a NOC engineer that says, oh, we want you to have 2 years experience in firewalls. You may not have firewalls. You may have something else. Just apply for it. You may get a call back. You do a phone interview, you do an in-person interview, and guess what? You might actually get that job. It's a 5% chance, according to this article, but it's better than nothing. Another tip that this article talks about is that the article actually puts up a website. It has a website that you can reference as a source for job searching with something that's called their application assistant tool. So I would recommend definitely to check that out. So let me get down to what is my final points. So again, I thought this article was very, very interesting. I learned a whole lot. A lot of it is what I have known, and I share some of those recommendations to you. But a lot of it is stuff that I have questions about this article, some of the details of that. But again, I was attracted to this because this is exactly what my subscribers are experiencing. They're experiencing exactly what this article is alluding to. So here's, again, my final points and thoughts about what this article is about. I really want to see the actual data that they used, the sample, because it was a random sample of 100 random jobs. What kind of jobs were they? I like to see those details. Were there technical jobs? Were they computer type jobs? I like to see that sample and kind of see how that relates to people like us. Okay. So that's really my first question for that. Another thing is about the location of those jobs, because I have personally learned that location, it means everything. If you're living in a particular location where the IT opportunities are very minimal, then those percentages will be probably very, very small and probably impossible. So I'm curious, based on those sample results, is where are you doing these job searches at? Are you doing it within the Silicon Valley in California? You're doing some other parts of the country or the world? I love to see those kind of details for that. Also, the article talks about not reflecting your age. That's something I disagree with. I disagree with that. Like if you put in I still have my college degree. I think if you go to my LinkedIn page, I think it's on there. You will see when I graduated. Again, I graduated in 1998. And I'm not 35, I'm 43. So that means that I should not put that on there. So I disagree with that. Because in my case, again, I'm 43 years old and I still get opportunities that people or companies reach out to me and say, hey, we have a copy of your profile. We think you're a great match for this. Can we please have a conversation? Okay. That's coming because they're looking at the experience that, sure, these are probably more for like senior level type of positions, but in terms of hireability that no one's calling me, that is not true. I'm not experiencing that at all. that I'm still seeing many job opportunities grow even after 35. So I would take that recommendation very loosely because from my experience, I am not seeing that. I'm seeing the exact opposite of that. Each year I've been a network engineer, my opportunities have been growing. And usually I send an email to these potential employers saying, thank you, but I'm self-employed and I appreciate the offer, but hey, keep me in mind in the future. I appreciate you reaching out. You want to build good relations because you never know. Things could always change, right? Facebook contacted me and I was like, ooh, that sounds fun. But I like being an independent consultant and training and trainer. There's a lot more flexibility and it's good stuff. There's good and bad. I talked about that in different episodes, but I think it's something that, again, the whole point is that my age is not affecting the opportunities that I'm getting on a weekly basis or monthly basis, whatever it may come in. But I do agree about one of their tips about freelancing. That's a recommendation I've given for a long time, like using websites like Craigslist or something similar to Craigslist to promote that, hey, I can help you install your firewall at, this is my price. It's a fixed price. You don't care about the money. You care about the opportunity. Okay. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people, like I see a lot of people on Craigslist that post things like, hey, I'll install your firewall for $50, right? I'm not go for it, right? I don't go after those kind of deals because I have a particular higher rate than that. But when you're starting out, it's not about that. It's about trying to establish, you're trying to build your experience. That's what that comes down to. So freelancing is very, very important. And I think that's something that everyone should definitely take advantage of. If it makes sense. If getting networking experience is not happening. So just keep that in mind. Also, like when you're applying for like an opportunity at a help desk or a technical support center, they will have simpler requirements. And that kind of falls in line with what I talked about earlier about applying for jobs when you have about almost up to 2 years of experience. And that experience could be computer related experience, that sort of thing, right? But getting to technical support, their requirements are a lot smaller. So kind of pursue those maybe first. And I talked about that a lot in other episodes as well. So again, I would recommend for you to read through the Alsha article further. Look at the details that I talked about. Check out that application assistant tool and do your job searches. Because I think this particular website is focused on kind of job searching 2.0. And I believe that if you're looking for a job, you need to use every available tool that is out there. Okay. You're going to my channel because you're seeing my channel or my advice as a tool. Okay. I should not be the only tool. I'm giving you my experience. Yeah, I'm giving you my experience. Okay. But you also do job searches everywhere. Look at particular job kind of tools. Anything that you can, because that's what I did. I did whatever I could to try to get to the position that I wanted to be in. That's the key thing. So I would recommend to definitely read through that article. I will put all that into the description. And I want to get your feedback on what you think about that and some of your challenges of what you're getting when you're applying for jobs and what they're telling you or what they're not telling you, I guess, and what's working, what's not working, right? So do all that because, again, this is something I like to talk more about and try to provide more of a particular path or action item or an action plan, I guess, for you to follow, for you to be a network engineer. You need to use all your available tools. And freelancing is another tool that you should consider. And that's all I have for this particular video. So thank you for watching. If this video helped you and you want to support this channel further, you can do it on the training website at routhub.net. We got a lot of great training like Ansible training. That's a very popular one. We have new design training, but you can also support us or support me on my Patreon page. It's just another alternative for supporting the channel to get more video content and to allow me to get better equipment and lighting and all that fun stuff that is very pricey. But anyway, that's it for this video. And until next time, as always, keep networking.